just rained. This is when they are inactive. You want them to be a little bit sleepy so that when they perk up in the morning, they're going to find water and food and stay in your garden. And we're sprinkling them. Ladybugs are a very helpful insect in our garden. They eat aphids and mealybugs and scale. They eat like various things, so they're a very helpful insect to have in our garden. And I'm just trying to get them all out without, I don't want to hurt them. So the hope is that they're gonna find food and water, they're gonna stay in our garden. Great. Oh, that's awesome. And lay eggs and make more ladybugs, and to eat all the mealybugs and the scale and the aphids.
There's 3 or 4.
And all that stuff that they like to eat. Welcome. We're standing at the corner of Young Place and Fisher Avenue. This is the entrance to Tuckahoe's Audubon Native Plant Garden, and it's the perfect place for our native plant tour today. This segment of our virtual Summer Solstice Celebration is all about native plants. I'm Barbara Nieminen. I'm a member of TESC, Tuckahoe Environmental and Sustainability Committee, and we're hoping that you learn about some new native plants that you might introduce into your own gardens at home. I have a great tour guide to start us off. Claire Gorman is a member of the tree committee and helped plan and plant this garden. And then later, we're going to be joined by Sandra Reyes-Guerra, who is the landscape architect who designed this magical garden. Come with me, let me introduce you to Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Barbara.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Always weeds to pull, huh?
Always, always.
I want everybody to see this beautiful plaque because this is really such a special thing for Tuckahoe to have right in the village here. It's an Audubon native plant garden, and Claire's going to tell you a little bit about it and how it came about.
Yeah, the native plant garden came about 7-8 years ago when Frank DiMarco was on the Audubon, Bronx River South Shore Audubon board, along with myself and my husband, Jeff Zuckerman. And we were coming up with an idea to do something with a community, and Frank said, well, I have a place that could use native plants. And that's how this came about. We gave a grant to the village, and we, along with the tree committee, came out with DPW, and we planted everything. And it's really just spread out and beautiful now.
It's spectacular. It's really spectacular. So take us on a tour, Claire, and point out some of these plants. I'm hoping that people will learn about some native plants that they can use in their own gardens at home. What I would like to know is, what makes native plants so special? Why are they so much better than non-native plants?
Well, because native plants are native to the area, they are more drought tolerant. They're more, in some areas, wet tolerant. And because they're native in this area, they are the ones that will thrive more than anything. They also provide great habitat for beneficial insects and bugs, also food for birds and other wildlife that roam around. You can see chipmunks running around, although I think everyone's seeing chipmunks these days.
Yes, there's a lot of them.
And but the birds, I mean, when we go around, you'll see there's echinacea, and if you have echinacea in your garden, you will see a goldfinch come in when it's in bloom and sit on the top of it and eat the seeds. It's just so great to see.
I just put some in my garden, and it's starting to bloom now, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I have it, and it also, another plant that just grows and you never have to worry about it.
So they're really much more environmentally friendly. They take less resources. They don't need as much water, and they feed local beneficial insects and fauna and flora and
we have,
all of it.
We have specific plants for butterflies. We have butterfly weed, which is a milkweed. Milkweed is the only plant that a monarch will cocoon.
Oh, is that right?
They will only eat that. That is the
wow.
only plant that they will eat. And as there's a problem with monarchs and their decline, and part of it is because of the habitat. So people are always encouraged to put
plant
it in their
milkweed.
garden, and they're beautiful.
Yes.
We'll see some as we go along.
And I just want to get a view of the canopy here of trees, which is absolutely gorgeous. So another thing about this native plant garden is it's really a shade garden. And I know a lot of people in the village have shade. So we're going to learn about some of these shade plants.
The other positive about this native plant garden and the location is there's water, which is important for wildlife and insects. And the other one thing we do, because we've learned this from the Native Plant Center at the Eastchester Community College, a great educational place to find out about native plants. They also do a sale, where most of these came from. It's what keeps them going, their native plant sale. They recommended you don't clear after things have bloomed in the fall. You don't clear them until the spring, because many of the insects that are beneficial, everything, will stay and overwinter in those dead stems and other parts of the plant. So we don't even clean this out until the following spring.
Well, that's a great thing to know.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier with that fall cleanup.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does.
So I am noticing just all this beautiful greenery and the different textures and the different colored greens.
Yeah, you'll see coral bells here, which grow so well in these little clumps. There's some flowers on this one.
Oh wow, it's very delicate.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. It's sitting right in between some phlox. And then you see the beautiful leaves of the Solomon seal in several places.
Now I have a variegated version of that. Is that one not as native as the solid colored one?
That I'm not sure about. I'm not sure, but the variegated is often, and you'll see these grasses. These are all native grasses as well.
Oh, how pretty! What a nice texture.
It's hard to find grasses that grow in the shade. So this is actually a nice one if you need some shaded area with some space. Over here, we have some columbine that actually bloomed this year. It's past the bloom. They were beautiful flowers on that. And as far as any of us can remember, it's the first year of bloom.
Oh,
so
it's cool.
Happy. It's a happy camper here.
Do we know what this is?
No, not 100% sure on that.
Sandra's going to come in later and maybe she'll be able to identify some of these things. Sandra Reyes-Guerra.
Yes, I should mention that.
Yes.
Sandra Reyes-Guerra, when Audubon gave the grant to the village to do this, Sandy designed this entire garden and the rain garden. And she also selected all the plants that are in here through the Native Plant Center. So without her, we would be lost.
Sandy is a landscape architect and she lives right here in Tuckahoe.
Yes.
And you see behind Claire is one of our quarries, one of Tuckahoe's infamous quarries.
Which is also the water that I was talking about, which is so important for wildlife.
Yeah.
It's also, this is just a great peaceful place to come sit and relax and get away from things for a little bit.
Yeah, there's some really nice benches here that you see. And even though Fisher Avenue is a busy place, you kind of forget about it all when you're in here because it's just so peaceful.
And this is coming up to the epimedium right here, and it actually continues. It's past bloom, but it usually gets a little yellow flower, and this thrives in shaded areas.
Wow.
I have it in my yard under junipers, and nothing grows under those junipers but this. This is doing so well there, and everyone always asks me, what is this? What is this?
It's gorgeous, and the texture of that with the fern is just really appealing. Very, very pretty.
This was such a small area planted 7 years ago. It's amazing how much has grown since and spread. We only use to help combat the weeds, but it's impossible to just use the wood chips. And then there's this covering that they use that's below that, and the plants are able to come through it, and it helps a lot with
like a weed cloth. Is it called weed cloth?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is weed cloth. DPW put it all down. This also has, they also put in a sprinkler system, so it gets its water.
That's awesome.
And then you'll see more corbels and more epimedium along with the ferns.
It's like feels like a thick forest here, and it's just so hard to believe that it's right here on the corner of Fisher Avenue and Young Place. It's a really nice little respite.
Oh, this is ginger. This is wild ginger.
Oh, wow.
Right here. It's a beautiful leaf.
And does that bloom at all?
I have it in my yard, and I've never seen it bloom, and but it does well in the shade, and it's just, I love it. I love the leaf.
Really, really pretty. And what's in this triangle?
Here's a mixture of things, including a native hydrangea. You can see it doesn't get as big, or the big snowball-y kind of flower. It's more subtle.
Very delicate.
Yeah, very delicate.
Claire and I are staying socially distanced. We tried doing this with masks on, but it was sort of hard to hear us, so we just decided we would stay apart from one another.
Up here is the serviceberry. Serviceberry is a native plant. It's either a bush, or you can get a single stem tree out of it. I have a single stem tree in my yard. It produces a berry. I think there's some remnants of it on there.
Yes.
Yeah, that berry, I believe it's the gooseberry. But anyway, the birds love it. I have so many birds that come and test it to see if it's ripe. I've had everything from catbirds to robins to cedar waxwings eating that. The cedar waxwings are magnificent. And if you're lucky to get one in your yard, it's because you have a serviceberry.
Does this also get a white blossom?
It does. I think there are two colors, but mine's white.
Oh, okay.
And whenever you see a blossom, that turns into a berry, and it's a very early spring flower. And then the berries, ours just finished, I would say, about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
With the berries. And that's only because the birds just devour it.
Now the bees are just having a heyday here.
Yeah, that's the bushy St. John's wort. And if you get up close, you can see how gorgeous the flower is.
Wow. Look at that flower. And I'm gonna assume, gosh, these almost, what kind of bees are these? They almost look like honeybees.
Well, there's some bumblebees for sure. I don't see a honeybee yet. You might have them over there.
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know my bees.
These
are just nice, big, plump.
And look, you can see all the pollen on their rear. See them?
Oh, yeah.
They're gathering. They're working hard.
Yeah. How beautiful. That's a beautiful bush. I'm just going to get back I mean, that's just a lovely bush to have in your garden.
And it's hard to find something that flowers as well in the shade.
Yeah, I mean, this is dense shade we are in. This is dense shade. And what is this tree or bush in back of that? So lilacs are native to New York State also?
I guess so. I suppose so.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, it's doing really well.
Yeah. I'm not sure how well it blooms without, yeah, you can see there were some blossoms.
It does have, you can see that it did bloom.
I guess, you're not going to get the big blossoms.
Right, right. But it does seem to tolerate shade.
And these are asters, which you can get native asters anywhere, and they will, you just have to stay on top of them because they can explode and take over.
Now, does this look like it's about to bloom or it already bloomed?
No, it hasn't bloomed yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're more maybe to late summer. And then more of the serviceberry over there, and more, and these are very small irises at your feet.
Oh, okay.
Those are native irises.
Wow.
They're smaller. They're not as big and gorgeous, but they're still very pretty as the other irises you pick up.
And they fill in very thick, so
they do.
I'm sure they choke out a lot of weeds.
And these like a lot of wet area. You see these sometimes at ponds and lakes.
Oh, okay.
Now this, I don't know what tree that is.
This tree, is that Sandra coming now?
Yes, it is.
Sandra is gonna join us, and she loves, this is a favorite tree of hers, and she's gonna tell us what this tree is.
It is the pawpaw.
This is the pawpaw. So this is Sandra Reyes-Guerra. So she is the landscape architect who designed this magnificent place.
Hi everyone. This is beautiful. This is one of my favorite trees. I just planted it here 2 years ago.
Wow, and it's doing really well.
It was this big, the little baby. Now it's so big. So this is one of our native trees in here. Most of our trees here are your Norway maple, and then we have, sycamore trees, and we have a birch tree over there.
Oh yeah, the river birch,
And then we do have the tulip tree over on the
Yes,
side
we
that
haven't even gone over there.
We haven't even gone over there.
No,
yet.
so
Wow.
so we actually did all through here, and then we're up to here.
So
We haven't got to the bottom.
this is, did we identify this? We may have wrongly identified it. What it?
This one actually is labeled.
Oh,
Ah!
look at that.
Anemone.
Oh, okay.
We got lucky there.
Yeah.
And it's just starting to is it starting to flower, I think, or is it finishing up?
I think it's kind of in, it looks like in the middle,
It's
like
in the
some.
middle, yeah. These are buds. These are buds.
Okay.
So
And then
they're starting
this is like after.
out. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of like the seed head. If you want to
Yeah.
finish the fruity
Yeah.
body. And you saw the compact amelanchier? Which one? Those three.
Oh, those three.
Yeah.
No.
Those are so we have the big amelanchier over there, the big chatlow,
Yeah.
serviceberry.
Yes.
And-
We did. We talked about
Yeah.
the service berries and how the fruit they produced and the birds loving it.
They ate up mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way it happens. So did you notice whether or not we got berries on this one this year?
I
yet?
didn't notice on there, but they were on the big
The
one.
big one. We got
So,
it.
yeah.
We got a really
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah.
Now this is
And
this
Claire
is
knows
a
this
very
Oh, this is the butterfly weed.
This is the
It's
butterfly
a milkweed, and it's the only plant I mentioned before that a monarch will eat. So if the caterpillar of a monarch, if they don't have a milkweed around, you won't get a monarch.
wow. That's pretty. So they're really important.
Yeah.
So this is a really helpful plant to put in
And
your
they're
garden.
gorgeous.
It's a little bit different from the butterfly bush,
Right.
the common name,
Right.
which also gets a lot of butterflies around it.
Yes.
But Claire, as you pointed out, it's the milkweeds
That they need
varieties.
for
That's
food.
species milkweed. This is a lower growing milkweed. The more wilder milkweed
Yeah.
is much taller.
Yeah, we have
And it
one
has
over
the
there.
pods on it. Oh, you saw it already?
Yeah, it's not blooming.
Oh, okay.
But will this type of milkweed also provide food for monarchs?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
It's the caterpillar that eats the food. So in order for you to help the monarchs out there, you need to plant some.
Okay, and what a gorgeous color flower.
Yeah, and it's so nice at this time when it's kind of like in between other flowering plants.
Yeah, it's
but
beautiful.
This is prime time for the bees and the butterflies.
It really stands out.
It does.
The that bush is covered with bees, and we got some really good shots of the bees.
Flower heads that are really quite delicate looking and pretty. But they're supposed to be, you know, very nice. I don't think they get much taller than this. And they're really nice too for erosion control in various areas, but we're so lucky that it's a nice shrub that does well in the shade too. Well, I just wanted to point out that this area down here is our like a rain garden type of thing, but it's a stormwater management. All of these rocks down here, this is a low point in the garden. As you can see, it's right next to the quarry, which is filled with water. A very nice naturalized area for us to be up against here, and the ferns just love this area because they like to grow in between rocks. So we have hay-scented fern and Christmas fern. And I think over on the other side we had New York fern. There are a lot of native ferns that grow in and around areas that get drainage from stormwater. And right here we are at the very low point. So the water comes down, travels through the rocks and through the ferns, and then spills down the hill into the quarry. So it's a nice drainage function that we have.
And I see you have a very natural erosion control here, just, you know, laying down some natural flat rocks to keep soil from washing into the quarry.
Yeah, and then in this case you can see here and there a little bit of the filter fabric just to try and keep it, because sometimes it'll get clogged, and eventually that's one way to clean an area is to bring it up.
So we're just looking at this beautiful ground cover, and Sandy's going to tell us about it because it seems to be very happy here.
Now this is roundleaf groundsel. It's more or less an evergreen plant. You can see it's finished flowering here, but it comes up, it lights up in the springtime with daisy-like flowers. So. And it loves the shade, it's deer resistant and drought tolerant, but it creates a very nice matte ground cover here.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, very happy. And I think these are a couple different varieties of phlox, of the upright phlox.
Oh, wow.
That, you know, will probably start flowering in a little while, but just not quite yet.
And then in the back you'll see some milkweed, the tall. That's the taller version of milkweed.
Oh, wow.
Right.
And does it also get that bright orange flower?
No, this one I believe is pink.
It's a pinkish flower, and they get more of a pod-like fruiting body.
This is a beautiful tree, Sandy. Is that native?
And this is one of my favorite trees. It's an understory tree and found along the edges of forest areas and woodlands. This is redbud, Cercis canadensis. You see many different varieties, and fortunately it's being used more in and around our neighborhoods, especially here in Tuckahoe. It comes out with very pretty and delicate pink flowers that line the branches in early spring, and then comes out with these beautiful heart-shaped flowers that turn a very clear yellow in the fall. There are several varieties, and one of my favorites is called forest pansy, which comes out with even darker purple pink flowers in the spring, and the leaves are also a really rich burgundy purple color all through the summer. And I think that there's also another variety that's called Aurea, which, as its Latin name indicates, has yellow leaves. But it's a beautiful understory tree, not too big, you can see it, so it's good for a smaller size yard. And it is one of our native trees, so it's
really
very
a nice tree.
Durable here too.
And here it really is an understory tree. It's growing under this looks like a Norway maple, right?
Right.
And we won't talk about those. They have a dubious past. Yes. Oh, look here. These are beautiful.
And these are, I think a lot of people know this from the pictures that we see on our vitamin supplements too. Our echinacea. Purple coneflower is one, of course, of our native perennials as well. Doing very well here. And they will volunteer and spread very nicely in your garden as well.
And if you're lucky, you'll watch a goldfinch sit on top of one of those pods and just eat the seeds.
Oh wow, that must be really something. And they're sturdy enough to hold the weight.
Those goldfinches are so
tiny, yeah. I see my ladybugs went on to a better place. They were, I had put some ladybugs, but actually
it's coming out. Look, it's coming out. I mean, despite being attacked, the Rudbeckia
look at
is back there.
Oh, look at that.
This Rudbeckia is commonly, you know, we have a lot of common names for it, but Black-Eyed Susan is one. Unfortunately, this one is kind of being attacked by some aphids. But you can see this is one of the, it's a giant coneflower, and it's just starting to do its little flowering thing. Well, maybe we can get some
more ladybugs.
Ladybugs or something else that will eat that up.
I'm surprised that the ladybugs didn't gravitate to that, because I had put them out and they were very happy on the echinacea, and then they must have gone on to a busier place. But this is so pretty.
You can see the different color shades of the purple coneflower.
Yeah.
Light pink and darker.
Yeah, you know what? I never even realized they came in different colors. Yeah, and this one is much pinker. They're so pretty.
This is called Liatris.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
My update on it. This is it gets kind of like a pink. You can see this is the flower spike that comes on it. They get flower spikes on them that are very showy.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
What a cool texture.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a cousin it kind of plant.
Black-eyed Susans also smaller varieties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
also are a great source for seed for birds.
Yeah, yeah.
And, they also, like Indonesia, they take care of themselves well.
Which is not native, and actually this is an invasive plant.
Yeah. Well,
it grows very well, and I know people like them because of the pretty pink foliage in the fall, but there's lots of natives that can substitute for that, and one of them is high bush blueberry.
Oh.
It's nice red fall color, and so does the sumac.
oh, okay.
The low-growth sumac that is over there gets brilliant red foliage in the fall, which is...
And those are native alternatives to this.
Alternatives, and are great for habitat, and they aren't invasive.
And 7 years ago when we did this, some of these things were already here.
Right.
Right.
I see.
And we have some iris that are still here. And I forgot the name of this one. We have this
look,
on the...
there's some milkweed under
Oh yeah,
there.
yeah.
against the backdrop of the beautiful marble quarry. Really pretty.
We do have a native azalea in the back there that comes out.
Okay.
Some more sedges here. And this one is Plethora alnifolia. It's summer sweet, often known as summer sweet. Unfortunately, some this we
That's
don't
a
want.
weed.
This is mugwort.
Oh.
That's the stuff that you don't want. Again, another invasive. Will start to overtake things. So
Yeah.
if you see this is something that you don't
want
want
that
in your garden. Yeah.
I'm always pulling that. This is a very pretty bush.
That's pretty, and it's summer sweet. And the bees love this too. When it's more fully in flower, it looks like it's just coming.
Yeah.
Just coming out or just finishing up.
Yeah.
And then we have some indigo there that has the kind of like the bluish, delicate looking foliage there. Some of you may know the history of the plant, that it was often used not necessarily for medicinal purposes, but to color clothes blue.
Oh,
So
okay, so that indigo. That indigo.
It's a blue indigo, yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, this has just been a gorgeous experience. The garden is so pretty, Sandy. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, and it's just a beautifully designed place.
Yeah, it's wonderful to come at each season of the year. So it's right here locally, so take a walk.